All right, let's talk about the economics of flying. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the airline industry and really decode this invisible war that's fought for profit on every single flight. It's a super high-stakes battle, right? It's all about the money coming in versus the insane costs of just getting a plane off the ground. So think about this. You've been there, right? You're sitting on a plane, you look around, it's pretty full, and you just wonder, is this airline actually making any money on my ticket? Well, the answer is way more complicated and honestly, a lot more fascinating than you'd probably guess. Okay, so to really get a handle on this, the best way to think about an airline is to picture it as a factory, but a factory in the sky. And the thing it produces, it's one of the most unique and challenging products in the entire world. And this really gets to the heart of the problem. What an airline sells, a single seat on one specific flight, is crazy perishable. I mean, it's not like a can of soda or a t-shirt, right? You can't just put an unsold seat back on the shelf for tomorrow. The moment that cabin door closes, any empty seat is just lost revenue. It's vanished into thin air forever. So you can imagine, with that kind of intense pressure, an airline's number one job isn't even about counting dollars. Nope, it's about fullness. Before they can even dream of making a profit, they have to solve that one huge problem: the empty seats. And this leads us straight to a super important metric you'll hear about all the time: load factor. It's pretty simple, really. It's just the percentage of seats that are filled by paying passengers. You can think of it as the airline's vital sign, its pulse. A low load factor, that's big trouble. A high one, that means your factory is humming along just right. So, what's a good number, you ask? Well, the benchmark in the industry for real top-tier efficiency is anything north of 85%. And this is an area where an airline like IndiGo absolutely shines. They are masters at consistently keeping their planes packed, utilizing their capacity at this really elite level. But, and this is a big but, just filling the plane is only half the story. Okay, now we get to the main event, the central conflict that every single airline faces, day in and day out. It's the ultimate tug of war that decides whether they make money or lose it. It is the battle of RASK versus CASK. The easiest way to think about this is like a game. RASK, that's revenue per available seat kilometer, that's your offense. It's all about how much money you're bringing in for every unit of product you have. Then there's CASK, cost per available seat kilometer. That's your defense. That's how much it costs you to even have that unit available. The rule of the game is dead simple. For the airline to be profitable, the offense has to outscore the defense. RASK must be greater than CASK, period. All right, let's take a closer look at RASK first. The revenue, the offense. Now, you'd probably assume it's all about how much you paid for your ticket, right? Well, that's only about 85% of the picture. That other 15% is something called ancillary revenue. And that is everything else. Baggage fees, picking your seat, buying snacks. For low-cost carriers especially, this is a huge, huge profit driver. It's kind of their secret sauce for making more money without jacking up the ticket prices. Now, on the flip side, let's talk about CASK, the costs, the defense. And the big elephant in the room here, the one that keeps airline execs up at night, is fuel. It's this massive, totally unpredictable chunk. We're talking 35, sometimes even 40% of their total costs. And it's so volatile, they have almost no control over it. The other 65%? That's everything else. Staff salaries, maintenance, airport fees, the whole shebang. And this is where being super efficient becomes absolutely critical. So the big question is, how do airlines actually fight this war? Well, they come prepared. They have a whole arsenal of strategies, a playbook for their offense to boost RASK, and another one for their defense to absolutely crush CASK. Let's talk offense first. How to boost that revenue. Airlines are absolute masters at this. They use dynamic pricing, which is why the cost of your ticket can change literally minute by minute based on demand. Then there's something called yield management, which is this whole art and science of selling the right seat to the right person at the perfect price. And of course, like we just talked about, they lean super heavily on all that extra cash from ancillary fees. Now, for the defense, it's a completely different game. It is all about ruthless, relentless efficiency. And this is where the low-cost carriers like IndiGo are just brilliant. For example, they use what's called fleet commonality, sticking to just one aircraft family like the A320. Why? It slashes costs for training, for spare parts, for maintenance. They also keep their planes in the air for an incredible 13 to 14 hours a day and fly point to point, which helps them avoid all the expensive delays you get at big, crowded hubs. And if you want to know just how obsessed they are with efficiency, look at this number: 25 to 30 minutes. For an airline like IndiGo, the second a plane lands, a clock starts ticking. The goal is to get everyone off, clean the plane, refuel it, get the new passengers on, and get it back in the sky in about half an hour. It's incredible, because less time on the ground means more time in the air earning money, and that is one of the most powerful ways to drive down your CASK. So, when you put all of this together, these offensive and defensive strategies, they create completely different blueprints for how to win the game. But what's interesting is they can both be totally valid ways to succeed. So let's check out how two very different types of airlines play this game. But first, we need to know how you actually keep score. What's the final result of this battle? Well, that's called PASK, which stands for Profit per Available Seat Kilometer. And the math couldn't be simpler. It's just your RASK minus your CASK. If that number is positive, hey, congratulations, the airline made a profit. If it's negative, well, you lost money. It's that straightforward. And this is where it all comes together. You can see there are two main ways to get that PASK into positive territory. On one side, you have the low-cost carrier, like an IndiGo. Their whole game is about playing defense. They are obsessed with minimizing CASK, getting costs as low as humanly possible, while squeezing every last drop out of that ancillary RASK. Then you have the full-service carrier, like an Air India. They play a more offensive game. Yeah, their costs are higher, but their goal is to maximize the total RASK by offering premium cabins, bundled services, and using those big hub-and-spoke networks. So you see, two totally different strategies, but they're both chasing the exact same goal. So, the next time you're on a plane and you hear that click of the seatbelt, take a second and look around. You'll realize you're not just a passenger anymore. You're a key piece on the board in this massive, invisible, high-stakes economic battle being fought all around you. And the cool thing is, now you know exactly how the game is played.